This is the Horror Movie Project Podcast. This is Dead Michael, and joining me today is my co-host,
Dan from Reject Filmz.
And we're going to talk about the Waxwork films 1 and 2. And let's get started then. Let's jump into this first one. I have no prior notes to this, so I don't even know what year they were made or anything, so it's pretty bad.
Yeah, the first one came out in 1988. For you guys watching this on my YouTube channel, this is the third release from Vestron in my line. Then I'm going down the Vestron releases, reviewing those. And for you guys listening on iTunes and everything like that, this is just a random episode that we're doing.
Yep, just for the hell of it, because we can.
So, possible spoilers ahead.
Yeah, let's just do spoilers. I mean, yeah. We're not going to spoil much for the second one, so you ain't got to worry about that anyway. But the first one, if you haven't seen it, you probably shouldn't listen.
So, what's your thoughts on the first film there?
It's 11:45. Let's go.
Imagine, if you will, an exhibit in fear.
It looks a little spooky, boys. You think we should do this?
A place that appeals to your deepest and darkest fantasies.
Ooh, scary.
Your fascination with ghosts, monsters, and the many unearthly elements of the supernatural.
Welcome to the Waxwork.
Look.
Now this is killer.
Enjoy.
Wow, the glasses from Nutty Zombies from Hell.
Lose yourself in it.
Would you like a closer look?
Really?
But whatever you do, don't step over the rope. Live, my children. Live.
Hit me! We still need 2 more!
Vestron Pictures welcomes you into a new dimension in terror. Waxwork.
I mean, at first I wasn't sure where it was going, but it was cool. Like with you have the guy from Gremlins. I can't think of his name, but everyone knows who he is pretty much if you watch, horror. I don't know. I need to do you know what his name is?
Yeah, Zach Galligan.
Yeah. I mean, he was also in Hatchet and other stuff too. He was in the third Hatchet. Trying to think of other stuff. He's been in some different random. I know there's some more iconic films. I just can't.
He was in Warlock Armageddon back in '93. A lot of B movie titles and stuff like that. G-Men from Hell.
Yeah. And he's definitely one of the cooler characters in the film, I think. He's more common sense type guy. He doesn't, he's more of a smarter horror character guy, in my opinion, than the rest of a lot of the other people, because, I don't know. I mean, he's got a thing for that chick, so he's willing to, be the hero, but then again, have common sense. Trying to think who else was in it, because they had the guy from, did you ever watch any of those haunted, they were these haunted shows. It had the guy that was in the wheelchair, he's in a bunch of those, it's I don't know if it's the History Channel or what it was, but I have a bunch of my...
I know what you're talking about. He's got that real familiar
accent. Yeah, that he narrates a lot of them too. I think when he's in them as the host, but he also talk and be oh, this place is haunted or whatever. But yeah, it was cool seeing him because I've never seen him in any other film other than those, so I was surprised by that. So yeah, he was pretty good in it too, I thought.
You had David Warner in there, who had another familiar face from just a long line of different films and TV shows and things. The owner of the Waxwork.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep, and the guy that owns the Waxwork, they just kind of pop out of nowhere in that neighborhood, right? And those people just kind of get drawn in. Like those, he comes up to those kids, and then he vanishes. Like right as soon as he like pops up, he's gone. He like gives them invites. So that's kind of how it all starts. And you know, those kids want something to do because you know they're probably bored. They have nowhere to go. I mean, I don't know. It's you want something to do for the night because you want to have some excitement, I guess. So they end up going there. I think it's the chicks that talk them into going, don't they? Like say, hey, we got this Waxwork tickets or whatever. Let's go check it out. They said we can bring up to 6 because they were very specific on like bringing 6 people with you. Wasn't it 6 or how many people? Do you know?
Yeah, it was no more than 6.
Yeah. So that was cool.
The basic premise of it is the Waxwork owner needs these 6 souls or whatever to, because he sold his soul to the devil and needs to pay his dues or whatever.
Yeah. And they all end up pretty much going there. And there's some that I think don't they arrive late or something, and then they like or they vanish for a while.
2 of them take off.
Yeah.
They aren't really down for it, and they show up later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it mainly focuses around just Mark and Sarah's characters.
Yeah.
That's the 2 main people.
Yeah, the guy from Gremlins and then the other chick, I can't think of her name. The actress, you probably know it.
Her name is Deborah Foreman.
Yeah. See, I wish I could
like Valley Girl and stuff like that. April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I wish I could connect names a little bit more. I know like a couple, but it's just not something that I'm really good at with a bunch of actors. It's too hard to identify them. I just know them from the films a lot of times. Yeah, so they go there and pretty much their friends start to go into the displays come alive. Like you enter the portal if you like cross over that like, you know, chain or whatever they got, like that little, they open that up and you go into this world, whatever. But like, yeah, they have that little butler guy that answers the door, and then you have like the big dude, which kind of reminded me of like a Frankenstein character or something. That
like a lurch.
Yeah, but they're the ones that invite you in, and then you start to see the display. And I don't even think you see the guy that invited them at first, or does he pop up for a little bit and then vanish or something? But he's not. I mean, you
don't see him around too much there at the beginning of it.
Yeah, towards the end.
Until the cops show up and stuff.
Yeah.
Later on.
Yeah, but
you got the first world with the werewolf.
Yeah, that was when their friends got sucked in. That was kind of cool. Like, you got I think the guy that was the werewolf, I think he was in Indiana Jones films. I'm not sure, though.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Okay, I did recognize him. Okay.
Yeah. And he was in a couple of the Lord of the Rings movies and stuff like that. I believe he was one of the producers on the film, or one of the special effects guys or something. He was working on the film and was the werewolf as well. Yeah,
he's a pretty good actor. From I mean, as a kid, I grew up seeing him in the Indiana Jones ones. That's why I knew him the most from. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh, him. Like, I knew him instantly. But yeah, he becomes the werewolf, and the friend, you know, I don't know. He's pissed off because he gets stuck in that world because it's just like, you know, this dude in this cabin and tells him to get away from him. I think he like warns him he's gonna turn into him, doesn't he? Like, and then he like runs off. I don't know if he gets wood or what it was, but he went outside to do something. He comes back in, and then he's a wolf. Don't really remember.
He thinks he's like drugged or he's hypnotized or something.
Yeah,
in this world.
He just thinks he's crazy. Yeah, or something. Like, he doesn't understand what's going on too, because you're stuck in this whole different. I don't know. His appearance changes completely too, because doesn't he have like older clothes on and stuff? And
yeah, his hair's all long.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep. So everything kind of changes when you walk into this whole different dimension. But
yeah, so that's like their take on the Wolfman from the old Universal era. That's what most of these characters are based on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. Or what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'm not really sure where it took off to after that.
Yeah, there's so many of like these random stories. It's cool though the way they put them all together with this first film. Like it goes together real well. Like it's a good. I mean, you could tell they spent time on placing these together to where they fit real well. It's not just random. But I don't know, it makes sense. But yeah, the next one, I don't know. Is it like the friends come back or something? Or are those the next ones that die? So many like different people in the beginning that you kind of forget about.
I believe it's the China chick, maybe. The one that's all, too good for everybody and everything like that, and always wants, some kind of sexual attention and stuff. I think she was the next one, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
She goes into that world of the vampire world.
Oh yeah,
Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, these could be out of order. I'm not 100% sure.
We didn't take we didn't take notes, guys. Just bear with us.
I mean, this being a random episode here, we're just kind of, doing the best we can, going through it.
Yeah. Yeah, she does, and that one actually lasts a while because they go into that vampire world, and now I remember it pretty well. Like, it's like a dinner scene, I think, at first, and then they kind of, I think she goes to bed or something. Like, they all kind of, she knows something's up with them, but can't put her finger on it yet. And then the one dude sneaks into her room, the one other vampire, because they're all vampires, right? And then, like, the one dude tries to bite her, and she runs off. And then as she's running off, like, one of her other friends gets killed, right? While they're trying to, like, they're eating him or whatever, like, his leg. Right. Yeah, and that, like, it's kind of like a morgue room / kitchen or something. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, it had kind of definitely like a sanitarium type feel to it. I mean, like a crazy room or something, like a padded room maybe. I don't know. It definitely had that feel to it.
Yeah, and
but then you had like some wine in the thing out of place, like it didn't belong there.
Yeah, it's weird because then he's got all the vampire brides and all these other vampires that are just in the house, and he's strapped down to that table, and he can't really move, and he's got that leg that's all, I mean, if he tries to walk, he's probably
kind of put two and two together and realize that's what she was being served there at the beginning.
Yeah. They're eating the person, and then they end up turning that person to a vampire, which he ends up dying because he gets bit because he's strapped to a table. He's just kind of screwed. And then she, I remember, like, runs around a lot. So the other friends, so you got two friends that are dead now. From the one dude, I think, dies from the werewolf, right? And the other chick dies from the, because
she gets turned.
Yeah.
There at the end of the vampire scene.
Yeah, towards then, because that one main count guy comes down and then gets her.
Right, the Dracula character.
Yeah.
I will say that, I mean, that dinner scene was really reluctant of, like, Interview with the Vampire feel to it.
Yeah.
The way that everybody looked and everything.
Yeah, it definitely had a cool look to it. Reminds you more of
some kind of steak.
Yeah,
steak tartare or something.
It's back when they had, like, it reminds me more like back when they had, like, powdered wigs and stuff. I don't know, like,
right.
Way back when, and they're all proper, and they have, I don't know, some of the suits and stuff they wear are kind of cool looking, like that type of time period, but
the ruffles and all that.
Yeah, it fits vampires really well when they do it in films, but yeah, going back into the wolf guy, I don't think we mentioned we had that wolf hunter that runs in there too, right? I think we forgot about him.
Right.
That tries.
I think he was supposed to be like maybe like a Van Helsing type character or something.
Yeah, trying to save him. I don't know what kind of. Did he have silver bullets or whatever?
Yeah, they had a whole thing of silver bullets that they drop on the floor and
trying
to get those back together. And
yeah, so you did have another guy to battle that person with, and then with the vampires, it was just mainly those two. So there wasn't like another, Van Helsing type guy to save them. They were just kind of on their own.
What'd you think about the look of the werewolf in that scene?
Trying to think. From what I remember, it didn't look too bad. It was like more of a older look to it. Like it wasn't obviously like CGI'd or anything, but it was, I don't know, costume wise. I can't really put my finger on what it looked like. I should actually look it up to see what it looked like.
It was definitely a different kind of look to it, the way the face was and everything, though. It had kind of like some more pointier aspects to it and everything.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I hadn't seen before. You know, they made it different.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah, I see what it looks like. I forgot kind of, yeah, the ears and everything were kind of different.
Yeah, it had more of a K9 kind of feel to it.
Yep, it was, I mean, and I kind of like, I don't know, like, I like the old, like, if you can pick masks and stuff, like, with them being suited up and stuff, like, I don't like a whole lot of CGI with my creatures, but that's just my preference. Like, I like some of the stuff they can do, like, with just, I don't know, some of that stuff's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both, you know, are more fans of practical effects than CG. So.
For sure.
I mean, my only complaint with that costume was you didn't really see the mouth move. I mean, it was supposed to be tearing them apart and everything. The mouth just kind of stays in one spot. Other than that, I think it was pretty decent.
Yeah. For, like, those short, like, little stories that they throw on there, kind of.
Right.
And pretty much after that, right, those two, the main character and the one chick, don't they get away for a while, and then they kind of wonder what happened to their friends or whatever? They end up leaving, I remember, don't they? Like, the Waxwork and that, like, little guy or whatever was like, no, stay, or I don't know. Like, the butler dude, I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of start figuring out something's going on, and they're trying to get out of there.
And that's when they meet the guy in the wheelchair, right? Like, they talk to him about this, and he knows what's going on. Or, like, later on, like a day or two later.
Alright. Yeah, he kind of gives them the backstory on what happened there at the beginning of the movie. I believe it was his grandfather, where his shop or whatever was broken into, and they steal those artifacts or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got, like, I don't know, he knows, I think he's been battling, like, him and his, like, group, they've been battling the Waxwork for some time, or they've...
Right, because he gets on the phone right after and...
calls up his, like, group of people.
Posse.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, let's go get these guys, they're back. They've got power now.
Tells him about, you know, like I said a little bit before, about him selling his soul to the devil and them having till midnight to do all of this, and you know, so they go back and try to stop it.
Yeah.
And the Sarah character's like obsessed with the statue of the Marquis de Sade or whatever, however you say it.
Yeah, she gets sucked in, or I know there was a Phantom of the Opera one too, right? I don't know if we went over.
Yeah, just very vaguely.
Yeah,
the one guy's like, "Oh, is that the mask from Phantom?" Whatever. I forget. They say like a different name. He's like, "Oh, they made a movie from that."
Yeah, and don't they like? There's some other random characters I think he brings in there because he needs more souls or something. They get like sucked up and they die. Like, I don't think it really shows much, but there's like one I think with the zombie with the cage or something too, or I don't know. There's like so many random ones. It's hard. I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, one of the friend that comes back that leaves late earlier in the film, something about like atomic zombies from hell or something like that, and he gets pushed into that world that's you know, their homage to Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right. And then, yeah, that one would have been cooler if it would have went longer. But yeah. The Phantom one, I remember something briefly on it. Wasn't much. I think they just got shoved in, and then you saw them in the actual picture after or something. They were pretty much dead or whatever.
Right, as the wax display.
Yeah. because they had always like those butler guys would linger around and push you in, or it was the one dude that would come up briefly.
The owner.
Yeah, but yeah, they just pretty much go back, and then she gets assessed, like you said, with the one guy, or the one dude that whips the chick for like pleasure or whatever it is. I don't know.
Right.
It's like a show to like the king or whoever it was back then. Like it was definitely more of like a. Was he a king or was he just some like rich?
Yeah, I don't know my history on the Marquis de Sade character.
Oh, gotcha.
I know he was into like a hardcore like 50 Shades of Grey type thing.
Oh, gotcha. All right, yeah, I didn't know much about it either.
All that kind of stuff. He was trying to get her for the other guy that was with him. He was just gonna whip her at first and then kind of give her to his friend or whoever that other guy was.
Yeah.
But she just wanted him to keep going, and she was getting so much pleasure out of being whipped and everything. And when the Zach
jumps in there,
Mark guy goes in, she doesn't even want to leave. And the Marquis guy was the owner of the wax museum, is who played him.
Oh, really?
Which I didn't even realize for some reason.
I didn't realize it either.
Yeah, it was the same guy there, and she just wanted to be stuck in that world, though. Like, he had to try really hard to get her out of there.
Yeah, he pretty much told her, like, with the world he went into, that you don't want to believe in it and it'll go away. And he even he goes in there and takes out that guard and everything, but that's all he got out of his world is he, like, believed it didn't exist or something, and it worked. So he was trying to get her to do the same thing, and then he like handed him the Marquis guy. Yep, and the guy just smiles. He's like, "What an idiot!" And then he tries to shoot him.
Yeah, it's those cops and everything too. The one cop's just like your typical cheesy, investigator and everything. And
did the cops actually
want to believe him? And,
yeah, did the cops actually go into the world? Like, I think one of them does. They get shoved into it, and the other one doesn't he get killed outside of the outside the worlds?
The one that's not the main cop just kind of goes into the Waxwork and the Lurch character, whatever, the butler guy just like snaps his neck.
Yeah. Okay, I know.
The other one, the main cop, he gets pushed into the world of the mummy.
Oh yeah. He like really likes mommy stuff, and then goes in there, and then they pretty much kill him or whatever in that mommy world. That's the thing. It's so hard to like figure out what the order is because we probably don't have it right. But
I'm sure there's no way.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, we didn't take any notes or anything. So
yeah.
But yeah, he's obsessed with like ancient Egyptian archaeology type stuff and everything like that. He goes down into that tomb and he helps that other archaeologist like open up the top of the mummy's tomb there.
Yep.
And then the actual mummy comes out of the wall, like out of a tomb that's up against the wall or something, a casket type deal.
So pretty much, yeah, like that's just kind of a side thing that went on because they warned the cops, and at first they didn't really believe them because that's just kind of crazy. So then the one dude investigates it, and the cops they knock him off pretty quick, and then the other people the guy in his posse, the one dude in the wheelchair, they come back, and his wheelchair is actually armored up like a tank or something. Like he's ready to go to war here, and. Don't they just break in after they get out of the Marquis thing, and then those guys come in and are like, we're taking you down, or something.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when it is, but yeah, I mean, they all just storm in, and there's a big fight scene there towards the end, where all the Wax characters come to life, and they're battling that whole group of people.
It's kind of like an angry village that goes into, like, a castle or something. That's kind of what it reminded, because they all, like, had pitchforks and, like, random weapons, didn't they? It was like maybe a couple had guns and then a couple had whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
That was a really cool scene. I really liked that fight scene. It went on for probably about, 20 minutes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to see all those characters come out and fight them.
Yeah. Got, like, Dracula turned into the bat. He's just caught, blows his head off.
Yep. Yeah, there's some cool stuff like that. Like, and then, I mean, because all those other characters, you don't really know who they are, but they're just battling them. They're getting killed. Like, the Marquis dude's doing pretty well killing them. And there's quite a few others that, like, besides him, that they're just kind of, like, knocking each other off left and right, like certain ones are. And then they end up going into that one private, like, room where it looks like he makes the wax statues or something, or...
Right, you got the big tub of the wax sitting down in there.
Yeah, and he's chasing after the owner of it. The one character that... what's his name in the movie again? It's Zach something for Gremlins, but...
Mark.
Yeah, Mark, yeah. Him and the chick chase after him, because they're not going to let this asshole get away with this shit. And then he runs off. And then pretty much as he's running off, he's got a gun, right? Like the dude.
Yeah, he's got a gun trying to kill Mark.
Yeah, and then the Marquis dude storms in, or wait, yeah, the Marquis dude storms in. He's got a sword fight him, right? Like,
yeah, there's a sword fight between the Marquis and Mark.
I'm surprised with the Marquis dude. Like, he doesn't just stab him because they fight with swords, right? And then he throws him a sword, which is, you know, during that time period, they probably would have, because you'd want, you know, somewhat of a fight.
Right, like an honorable death when whoever dies.
You know, and that's kind of cool that they do it like that, because, I mean, it would just be lame if you just stabbed him. It'd be like, okay, that sucked. Yeah, so he does that, and he, like, wins, like, two times or something. He keeps throwing it back to him. I was surprised by that. Like, he doesn't just try to grab both swords and go after him, but... Yeah, he throws it back to him a couple times after he's lost, and then... I think what happens isn't the wheelchair guy just burst in there, and then he ends up shooting some... Did he shoot the Marquis guy, or did he shoot... He shot the other guy, didn't he? The main owner, and he falls into the wax, or... I'm trying to think
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what happened to the Marquis guy, though.
Yeah, it's been a few since I watched the first one as well, so kind of blurry on that.
Yeah.
I know he's up on... it's while the waxwork is on fire.
Yeah.
Is when the wheelchair guy... barges in and takes out the waxwork guy, and he falls into that tub of wax and everything.
Yeah, and that Marquis dude just dies somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Zach probably yeah, it's probably... Mark probably just stabs him or something. That's what happens to him. That's my guess.
Yeah. But right after the... keep saying wheelchair guy.
That's his name. Yeah, the armored wheelchair guy is going to be his name.
Jenkins.
Jenkins, okay.
Yeah. No, that's not it. That's his professor. Because his professor from school shows up, too.
Yeah.
To fight people.
Oh, yeah, because he's part of that group with the wheelchair dude. Okay. That's all I could think of. Yeah, it's just what we'll call him, because I don't know.
Yeah, so, yeah, right after the wheelchair guy... takes him out, he gets ripped apart by the Wolfman, like smashes his head in or whatever as the flames are taking over.
Yeah, and
so he does die there.
Then it gets burnt to a crisp, pretty much. The Waxwork does, and then Zach and the one chick, yeah, they run off. I gotta call him Mark. I keep doing this, but this is what happens, guys, when we don't prepare. You just gotta deal with it. Yeah, they run off.
Then you have the left opening for a sequel where the hand is still alive from earlier.
Oh yeah,
that's really touch on too much, but
it's crawling out. Yeah,
Night of the Living Dead scene, the hand's like attacking him, and he throws it up on that fence and everything.
Yep.
And the hand just kind of appears here and there throughout the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think like right when they get out, they see like, is it a bunch of cops or like a fire department and stuff like just pop out of nowhere or something?
They just kind of take a cab and carry on.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. They just jump in that cab and get out of there, and then don't like the. I don't know. I thought like the cops like asked them like what happened or something like later. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They get out of there.
I don't really remember either.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you just do a random cast here. I mean.
Yep.
But I mean, you had that side story in there with Mark and Sarah. It was kind of love story as well. But thinking back at it, it's like the timing's kind of off in this movie too. Like they were supposed to like been at the Waxwork at like midnight or something, or like just before midnight, and then like everybody's still awake like later on. I don't know. Like he's like calling, is Sarah there? You know, and it's got to be like 3, 4 in the morning by then. I don't know. Some stuff just didn't really make sense, but I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah. Yeah, that town like they like to call each other in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this one. I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cheesy 80s movie.
Yeah, it was a good film.
I mean, I don't think we're going to do ratings or anything on here, unless you want to.
I don't know, we can if you want. I mean, since it's been a while since we watched it, I'd probably give it like, if I was going to rate this one, I'd probably give it like a 7. I was thinking. I don't know. It was a pretty good movie. Maybe even an 8. I don't know. Like, it was probably, I don't know, maybe a 7.5. I'll just do that.
Yeah,
7.5.
I'm right there with you, about 7, 7.5. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was never boring or anything, and I love the little guy, too. He really made that movie even better when he does the little bow and everything to him.
Yep. He's like one of the, and then you got that one big butler guy, like the Lurch, or whatever his name was. I don't know.
I don't remember. But, I mean, yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I mean, it was campy, it was comedy, it was horror, it was everything you could want in an 80s horror film. I mean,
I think too, like, if you're gonna watch this, like, with, I don't know, like, if you're gonna watch it with your wife or whoever, I think they would enjoy it too. Even, I mean, kids would probably have fun with it if they're old enough not to get scared by it, but it's definitely like a family fun movie, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, there was no nudity in it. There wasn't really a whole lot of bad language. I mean,
No.
aside from the gore effects, but I mean, they're practical effects, and by today's standards, you can tell they're fake. I mean, so it's not anything. I mean, Walking Dead's worse than this. You know,
Yeah.
is what I'm getting at. So I mean, you can watch it like you said with the family, and it'd be fine.
Yeah. It's got that awesome feel to it, kind of. I don't know. It's just kind of a good movie to revisit, I'd say. And then, let's go to number 2 then.
Do we have to?
Yeah, I know. That's
So, yeah, Waxwork 2, Lost in Time.
From the director of Waxwork, Waxwork 2, Lost in Time.
We burned that place down to the ground. Nothing could have escaped that inferno.
I just hope you're right.
When the mayhem ended,
You said it was over! You said it was over!
their adventure began.
You're going to need all the help you can get if you want to continue the fight against evil. Just follow Alice through the looking glass.
Trapped in a terrifying journey through time.
When you first used Solomon's Locket, you opened a doorway to another universe. The place where the true battle between good and evil is played out for eternity.
Caught between the forces of darkness and light.
God wants me to be a time warrior?
The Master is no mortal. He is the devil himself.
No.
To get back to the future, they must fight evil throughout the ages.
You guys know how to fight? Let's go kick some butt!
Zach Galligan from Waxwork and Gremlins 1 and 2 stars with Alexander Goodenough from Witness and Die Hard.
You're sick.
Take an action-packed journey through the looking glass and back in time. Waxwork 2, Lost in Time, from Live Home Video.
Came out in 1992.
the cover on this one, I'm wondering whose face that is. The red cover with like the eye.
I don't know if it's the King guy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
What I want to say.
Yeah, it reminds me of that guy too.
So I already seen Bruce Campbell's going to be in it. David Carradine. You got a little glimpse of Drew Barrymore there at the end.
Yeah, that's why I don't get that movie. Waxwork 2 looked really. It didn't look too bad because of the actor cast and everything. You're like, oh, might not be bad, and then you watch it. It felt like forever was part of the problem. It dragged. Like, I don't know.
I hear you, dude. It was hard to make it through. Man, this one to be over. I'm like,
I don't know.
So yeah, this one picks up right after the first one. You still got Mark and Sarah, which Sarah is played by a different character. Actress-wise.
Yeah.
And watching the features on the Vestron release, they did like the director talked about how they had like a falling out with the first girl that played her, and pretty much told each other to go fuck themselves. And that was kind of his way of even saying it more, was to cast someone that looked completely different and still wearing like the same dress and go by the same name. So that was intentional.
I see. I didn't even.
Fun fact for you.
Yeah, I had no clue with the recast or anything. I didn't know anything about it. It's crazy though. It got pretty. Seems like a lot of drama in Hollywood there.
Yeah, and they didn't have nearly the budget or the time that they did for the first one on the sequel here. And it really does, definitely shows.
Yeah.
I believe they said they shot it in 27 days or something like that. Like 14-hour days.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. It's not put together the greatest.
So yeah, like I say, it picks up right after the first one. The Waxwork's on fire. They jump in that cab, which another thing they intentionally did was to put New York City cabs in California, if you notice. And they're trying to figure out a way to get back in time to prove the innocence of the Sarah character. Starts out where the hand comes back and takes out her stepdad. She's accused of that murder, so they're trying to figure out a way to prove that it wasn't her. So they start jumping back into these different times in history.
That's why I thought, I knew this rang the bell. That's why I was thinking with the first movie, the cops got involved because they did in the second one, right? Because they're like, what the hell? This building burned down. You're the two, they somehow like connected them to it somehow or something. That's kind of how it started, right? Or
well, I mean, they're just after the Sarah character because of her stepdad's death.
Oh, okay.
So Mark's trying to prove her innocence.
Yeah, that's okay. I remember now.
They go looking around in his grandpa's stuff up in the attic and come across that compass or whatever it is that is used for the time travel.
Yeah, then they had that video with the wheelchair guy. I'll just telling
them how to get there, looking through the looking glass. Alice.
And at first, did you think this film was actually going to be a lot better than it was? Like at first, you kind of were like, okay, I'm into it right now, and then it kind of like, I don't know, like you think it's not going to be so bad in the beginning here, because you're like, oh, they're explaining all this. All right.
Yeah. And he's rummaging around, and there's even a part where he picks up a Jason mask out of the attic. I don't know if you caught that or not.
No, I didn't catch it.
He picks up that white mask covered in blood, and you can tell it's like an homage to Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know. This movie's really forgettable, like, with a lot of it. Like, the first one stuck out a lot better, but this one, I don't know. I don't even know where to begin with it. The
first world's the Frankenstein castle.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, the one dude goes in there, and I'm trying to think if anyone else goes with him other than... I know he takes the one chick with him, but she's also, like, going through all the court stuff, too, at the same time. So she's got to be, like, out on bail or something. I don't know really how it's worked.
I mean, this movie is just them two going through worlds. They don't have any friends with them or anything. It's just the two of them.
And the Frankenstein world was kind of cool. Like, parts of it, like, at first you didn't think this film was going to be as bad as it was, but, like, they're in the Frankenstein castle or something, and then, I'm trying to think, like, I think he's impressed, like, the doctor dude, or whatever his, the Frankenstein is his last name or whatever, but he's, doesn't he, like, get impressed by what he's got for technology or something, or is it, I don't know.
I'm not really sure
something
on it, but I know Frankenstein is telling his creature, because, I mean, the creature's not Frankenstein, but,
yeah.
To take out the Mark character in this world, and he's like calling him all kinds of names, telling him that he's stupid, and you have to do what I say, and he gets upset and ends up, just taking out his master instead.
Yeah, and you got the angry village, I believe, busts in and starts burning shit down because like they answer the door, and that one top hat dude just comes out of nowhere. He's like, I don't know, you can tell he was suspicious or something, but it's like really late in the night, and he's just like, yeah. I don't know like what they asked him, but it was something. Was it related to like his experiments or something? But they knew something was going on with him. That town, because then he bursts in with that huge town. I told you, or something like that. Random dude, like 20 minutes later, he brings like a huge like angry mob with him, and they all just all burst in there, and he's like, "You should have listened," or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there for a while, they're just going to these different worlds, and it's not making a whole lot of sense, like, why they're going to these places that they're going to.
Yeah, and they need the compass, right, to get out, or something?
Yeah, that's how they open up the time portal. I mean, the whole thing they're trying to do is just find a artifact to bring back to prove her innocence, so they're just going to these random periods in time.
Yeah. And they both get split off, I believe, too. She goes to the castle area, right? And then he gets stuck with, like, I don't know if Bruce Campbell's the next one, or I'm trying to think what's...
He goes to, like, the Frankenstein area, and then she's in, like, that world that they spoof, like, Alien from.
Oh.
She's in that kind of world.
Okay.
Fighting those alien creatures and stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then
he somehow goes in there.
World, yeah, he goes to that world of the haunting. It's supposed to be like from the original Haunting movie, the old black and white.
Yeah, and then Bruce Campbell and them are in there.
Yeah, which I don't even know exactly what was supposed to be going on during that scene. I know the one lady is like trying to kill people.
Yeah, I think what they tried to do is they're trying to, since Bruce Campbell is in there, they were trying to like kind of get you the feeling of like the Evil Dead or something, but it kind of didn't really work. I don't know. It's like
he even says in the behind the scenes stuff, that the only reason he even took that role is because it was right before shooting Army of Darkness, so he wanted to get ready for Army of Darkness.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's the only reason he even took the job.
He's like, all right, yeah, I'll just do it.
Like you said, I mean, having people like that in there made you really
think it was going to be good.
Anticipating it and everything. But yeah, he has to read some stuff out of a book in there, kind of like you just said, like Evil Dead, like
yeah, they're trying to
out of this book to kill this lady or something.
Yeah, and Bruce Campbell's all tore apart. He's like stuck on like a thing where he's tied up. I'm not even sure what it was, like boards or something, and his ribs and stuff are showing, so he's pretty much fucked at this point. He's gonna be dead, I would say, within the next, I don't know, couple hours. I'm surprised he's not dead yet, but he's talking to him. He's like, yeah, remember in college, like he's got like the main character there, Mark. He's like got like this backstory with him, and he doesn't even know any of this crap. He's like, yeah, remember back in college when I didn't believe the paranormal existed or something? They're trying to like do like a short story of, I think, like paranormal investigators trying to prove ghosts exist or demons or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the original Haunting movie, so I don't know how much of that was relevant to that movie.
Yeah.
What they were trying to spoof it or whatever like that. I mean, I'm sure if I would have seen that movie, it would have made more sense. But,
you just get the idea that they're paranormal investigators going to check out this house, and they all go in there, and then shit hits the fan, and the chick comes possessed, and yeah, he's got to read out of that book.
One lady's hanging there, and then she comes back to life.
Yep.
They're all throwing stuff at him too.
I mean,
unintentionally.
That story wasn't as bad out of the other ones. Like it was, I mean, it's watchable, but I don't know. Probably just because Bruce Campbell and Mark are in there. But
they had to have their black and white scene in there, like they did the first one. So that's what they went with.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when they're throwing all that stuff, though. He throws that bag of salt, and then he splashes that vinegar on him, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like right on his ribs, right? Like the exposed. Yeah.
And then he's over there kicking stuff out of his ribs.
Yeah, because he falls to the floor, so he's got a bunch of crap from the floor on him. Like, yeah, that was funny. But after that, like, that world really has nothing to do with anything because they jump into the King world, don't they? Shortly after, I don't know. I know the King stuff lasts a long time.
Yeah, the medieval part of it is 80% of the movie.
Yeah,
definitely spends a lot of time there. So you have the King. I forget his name.
And it's like
it's King Arthur. So I don't know if it's supposed to be the King Arthur, like that we all know.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem like it because he seems more like a scumbag. So King Arthur's supposed to be like some big hero that everyone likes, and this guy's just like trying to marry his sister or whatever the hell's going on. I have no clue. Some weird ass incest shit.
Which that's not surprising to me after watching Game of Thrones and stuff. It's like incest was pretty common back then.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean his whole thing is he's trying to be a shapeshifter. Is what his goal is.
Oh.
And he's all into black magic and everything like that.
Yeah, he's got like that group at night. Like they do all those rituals. Yeah, they kill that girl, and then doesn't she come back somehow by something? I don't know.
I don't know if they kill her or not, but I know she's
like a demon.
Tied down and she turns into a monster,
like a demon creature or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. And he like drinks her blood after she changes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done some weird shit, and then it's weird because then he brings like, I guess they would be considered the Crusaders or whoever, like that like Christian like group.
Yeah, that was like Knights of the Templar.
Yeah, something. Yeah, you're right.
That's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw the red and the white.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's funny because he's trying to be friends with those guys, and he's into all this black magic and shit, and, those guys would probably, like, shut him down, I feel like. But, like, I think what he tries to do is he tries to become that king, right? Because he probably has, like, a bigger kingdom, I'm assuming. But just all this weird side shit, like, you're like, what the fuck? Because he, like, I don't know, the story starts out with the chick in the woods with Mark, right, or something, or is Mark not there yet? Like she's in the woods. And
they go to that world together.
Yeah, and
the knights come and gather him up and take him back to that castle and everything.
Yeah, and then Mark's stuck in like a dungeon or something.
Yeah, and they're trying to keep her
away from him.
Realize that she's a virgin and everything, and they need to sacrifice a virgin or something, or.
Then the king decides to marry her or whatever. And then he's like, oh, if you do this, then I'll not kill Mark or whatever. And then that one, I don't know, I think of him more as like a dark advisor dude or whatever. He's a weird-ass looking dude for that time period, because I don't feel like they had a whole lot of makeup and shit, but I don't know. That guy was just not a dude. And he was like, I don't know, like...
Oh, okay, yeah, his little assistant, his little sidekick.
Yeah, whoever, like the dude that pretty much, you can tell he's like pretty much in charge of all the black magic and shit. Like he's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he was. I'm not sure what was going on with him. If he was supposed to have like a dead look to him or
Whatever, yeah.
what was going on.
It kind of reminds you of like Lord of the Rings a little bit, but it's not as like, I don't know.
It was like if Marilyn Manson was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what it was kind of like. Yeah, you're right. I was about to say like the guy in Lord of the Rings with a dark guy trying to assist with that cane. That's kind of what it reminded me of, but it shouldn't even be on the same level as that. But yeah, I mean, it's like that dark dude telling him to do shit, and the Kane's just like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. You know this stuff. I believe you.
So yeah, I mean, the king takes the shape of the actual king, I guess, or whatever. Yeah.
Or is that guy just like, I was wondering if he was like another kingdom visiting that kingdom. That's kind of like what
I think he was like maybe next in line to be king or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they call him Lord and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, he takes, he can shapeshift now after drinking the blood of that one girl that could do it.
Yeah.
Turn into that creature. So he takes the body of the king. And, the Mark comes and tells everybody, what's going on, pretty much. And the Crusaders, the Knights of the Templar guys, whatever they are, they're, after the Lord guy now, trying to
find him, yeah.
And they're all impressed with him, get him whatever he needs and all that, with Mark.
Yeah, that one guy, he catches on. Doesn't the one knight catch on, like, the main knight of the king? Like, his main, like, kind of his right-hand knight, dude?
Right, yeah, he asks where his crescent ring is, and kind of realizes right then and there that it's not the real king.
Yeah, it's a fake one, and then they get into that world, like, behind the bed. They, like, run through that area, and they actually find the one guy that's trying to become the king. He has to battle him out.
And then another celebrity guest appearance in here. Before all that happens, Mark's going through the woods and runs into that beggar, or whatever his name is in the movie, which is played by David Carradine, and he gives him that sword.
Oh.
So,
yeah, I forgot all
in there.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, for maybe 30 seconds of screen time.
Oh, gotcha.
It was cool to see him, of course, playing Bill in the Kill Bill movies and the old Death Race movie.
Oh, okay. I remember it now, actually. Yeah.
And it was pretty interesting that before he gave him the sword, it was like a staff or like a flute or something.
Yeah, and then doesn't that guy, like, he ends up vanishing, like, in thin air, doesn't he? Like,
yeah, he just disappears after he gives him the sword,
And he's got to go fight the other dude, and like, they still have, because he's in jail, like, he goes in there, I think, and then they throw him in, like, the dungeon, and that one assistant dude, is probably just going to torture him to death or whatever. I don't know. And he gets out, somehow. Is it through, like, I'm trying to think how he gets out. I don't know. It's weird. But he just somehow gets out, and then he lets all the other prisoners out, because he probably figures, if I let all these guys out, they're going to have to battle all these dudes. So at first, I thought he wasn't going to do that. I was like, dude, you should just let those guys out, because they'll have a better shot.
Yeah, small if they're ready to go kick some butt or something, and they look at him like, what does that mean? Like, they don't even understand, like, the language.
Yeah, they're like, what? Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of cool, because you had that, like, huge, all those prisoners fighting the knights and stuff, but, I don't know. I've already lost interest in the film by this point, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it was so badly paced, is the problem.
Yeah, that was entertaining for the moment it happened, because you're like, alright, I can see some people get killed here and some crazy shit, but I don't know. They battle each other, like the Kane and Mark guy battle each other through like all these different worlds. Like they through that compass, right? Like they go through like tons of different areas. Like I think in New York City and random places, they're fighting each other in like present time and stuff.
Yeah, they go through a scene in the mall that's supposed to be Dawn of the Dead.
Yep.
They're fighting zombies and stuff, and they just come through the wall, doing their sword fight.
Yep.
And them guys are like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yep. Yeah, they go through.
They go to like a little scene from back in the day too, from Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Which that scene would have been pretty cool if it would have, stayed more than a few seconds.
Yeah, it would have been, but it had like that old, cool feel to it. But yeah, didn't really last long. I don't know. The thing is, like, with these worlds is like it doesn't really make any sense because this compass. I don't know what summons the worlds, but like at least with
I think while they're fighting, this compass is just kind of going apeshit, just kind of going haywire.
Yeah, that's what the thing is. Like with the Waxwork, like the first one, it was cool because it was like all displays and you knew what you were walking into. But like these worlds, it's just I don't know. It doesn't really make any it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. And then you have like a little short scene of the old Nosferatu film, the old vampire film.
Yeah.
The two girls laying in bed, which one of them's Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, I know.
For like 2 seconds.
And the thing is, these celebrities can't even save this film at this point. It doesn't even matter. I mean, they put pretty much anyone in there, and it's not going to do anything. You've already been like, this is a piece of shit at this point. Like, you're just like, I don't care at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it had everything in it that it needed. It was just, like I said, it was just so badly paced and everything. The dialogue was just so much and killed the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they ended up taking out the Lord character that's trying to take over and everything. So it is her that kills him, right?
I think so. Yeah. Pretty sure she does. I don't know. He dies somehow.
He's getting ready to kill Mark, and then she kills him from behind or something, right?
Yeah. Who gives it? Yeah. Who gives a shit? Somebody just kills that piece of crap, and we're done with him. And then I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think what happens after that. They get out of the worlds or something. Like, well, no, he gets stuck in the world because he can't.
Yeah, they can't both go through or something. Or I know earlier on, the one guy, the knight, the main crusader guy, or it was either him or the wheelchair guy's character tells him that he wants him to be a time keeper or something like that, a time warrior.
Yeah.
That they want him to stay in that world and fix things in time, I guess, maybe.
Well, he gets stuck in the worlds, but, like, she goes to her court date, like, she's back in the normal world, and she gets proven, like, not guilty to... Was it, like, burning down the Waxwork or whatever it was, all those deaths, or whatever?
No, well, for killing her stepdad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's all the trial was.
Oh, I thought it was all that. Like, I don't know if they tried to bring that up in the court. I don't remember. But, yeah, she got proven.
No, at the beginning of the movie, when they get in that cab, and the cab driver's like, oh, that was a hell of a fire back there. And they're like, oh, we didn't even notice. They just go to school and everything like nothing happened.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's like you guys just came from here or whatever. I picked you up like 5 feet away. I don't know how you saw it, but I didn't see it. But yeah, she gets proven not guilty, and then she runs down the steps, and then you have some random messenger guy being like, we're the oldest people that send messages to people, and Mark sends her a message from, the past to do something to probably get him back or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the messenger gives her an envelope that has that compass in it, or another one, or I guess it's the second one, because I'm assuming the Mark guy would have to have one too.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, really. I mean, like,
I'm going back.
I mean, because
open for a third one.
That's gonna be an old ass messenger, though. That's all I can say, because you go to medieval times to present day, which was probably, I don't know if it was early 2000s or was it the 90s this was made?
It was 92. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure, but you know, hundreds of thousands. I don't know if it's thousands of years or whatever the hell it is, but yeah, they're pretty crazy that service has lasted that long. But yeah.
And then you have a scene in there too towards the end where they do like a little Godzilla scene.
Oh, yeah.
For like another 5 seconds.
And then they cut out of it.
Yeah, and they even do the purpose, words being out of sync when he says, "Oh no!" And he looks at the terrible Godzilla that they used. Like, just looked hideous.
Oh.
I just kind of wanted to cover all the different scenes, but
yeah,
that was about it. Yeah,
there's a lot of them, and it's just like with the first one, it had like that cool feel to it. This one didn't have any of that. It didn't really feel like it was just out of place, and you just when you're watching it, you're just kind of frustrated towards the end because you're like, "What the fuck is this?" Kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. And even watching the features on that Vestron release. A lot of people involved with the film said that they didn't have hardly any fun on this one. It was just work. No. The first one they all got along and they all had a good time. And this one was just, we got to get this shit done. We only have this much time and money. Let's just get it done. And it really shows through.
Yeah, you can tell it's not. It's more of like they try to give you this product that just, I don't know. They just failed on it because it just clipped so fucked up, like, and I don't know, I just couldn't dig it. I tried to, but
yeah, I couldn't either. After they screened it in the U.S., I guess they screened it at like the Chinese theater thing, that's real famous for movie screenings, and it did so bad that when they screened it overseas, they just released it under Lost in Time. And didn't even put the Waxwork name on it.
Yeah, because they're like, people are going to know it's a piece of shit because the word's gotten out by now.
I mean, that's pretty bad. You got to drop, the main title just for people to come see it.
Yeah, because you got stuck with all these copies that you have to, I'm not sure how their sales did with the movies and stuff, but yeah, I could see that, like, where they changed the name. There's so many movies that do that, like, try to, trick people into getting them again, and they're like, shit, it's the same piece of crap from before.
Yeah, looking online, their budget was only $3.5 million for this movie.
Oh, what was the first one? Or do you know?
I don't know. And gross, all they have is for Spain was 1,252 in their currency.
I'm not sure if it's euros or
US.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's euros or not for Spain. I have no clue, but who knows? Whatever that currency is, it might not be up to par with US dollars, or it is, or it's because euros would be more. I don't know, but I don't know. They didn't do well. I'm thinking the turnaround is probably pretty shitty, I think.
Yeah. So this film didn't do anything in theaters or anything like that. But I guess it's found, especially nowadays with, Lionsgate re-releasing it and everything, it's probably got more of a following. But,
yeah.
Like you, I just couldn't get into it either.
I tried, but just couldn't.
Yeah, I think we both just wanted the movie to be over. Once it stayed so long in that medieval time, it was just like, all right, come on.
Let's get it going. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of bore you to death, and I just can't get into it.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend picking up this set just for that first one, picking up the Vestron release. And for, there's a nice hour and 20-minute 6-part documentary on there for both films, which is really informative and really cool.
All the special feature type stuff, like the extra whatever. If you guys really want to dig into the film, definitely get it. Where you can, I'm sure they got interviews of they have any actors on there that talk about it? Or?
Yeah, Bruce Campbell in there, like I said, talking about why he was doing that movie and everything. And so you did get a little bit of him in there. And
did they go
with the director?
Did they go present day with it, or did they go?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nowadays.
All right.
I think a couple of them were archival, but most of them were nowadays.
Okay.
Interviews. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And I mean, you can find this, the Vestron release on sale between $15 and $20 between Best Buy and Amazon. So
yeah,
definitely worth that.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it on Best Buy a lot. Like a lot of people on groups and stuff, they've constantly, oh, you gotta go get it. And there's a lot of people that have been picking it up from Best Buy. I've seen. So
yeah. I mean, for a $20 price point, it's worth it just for the first one.
Yeah.
In that documentary. So. Overall, the second one, I'd probably give a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that film.
I appreciate what it tried to do.
I give it like a 4 also, or 4.5 or something. I mean, it's hard to give it like a 3, but then again, you don't want to give it a 5. I mean, I don't know. It's just like it's in that point range where it's not. It sucked, but it's not as bad as that new Nightmare movie or the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. That was a 3. It's not that shitty, right. But it's still pretty shitty.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both have, like I say, appreciation for this movie and what it attempted to do and what it could have done with a bigger budget and time.
Yeah, the reason why it gets 4 is because Bruce Campbell's in it. That's the only reason.
Right. I mean, you got the 3 people: Bruce Campbell, Drew Barrymore, David Carradine.
Yeah.
Make appearances, and the little 30 Seconds of Dawn of the Dead homage.
Yep.
The Jason mask at the beginning.
I probably won't rewatch it. I probably just like kind of keep it in memory, and then I'll probably go back and forget that I watched it, and then watch it again. I don't know in the future, but
if you've never seen it and you get the Vestron set, you might as well go ahead and watch it. But
yeah.
Other than that,
don't go out of your way to buy it like separately or anything.
Right.
Unless you get it super cheap or free,
Yeah. It was just, like I say, a hard one to get through, and just kind of wanted to turn it off here and there.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this episode.
Yep. Let us know, guys. Comment also about the Waxwork, what you guys thought of the, the release and everything with Vestron and what they're doing. It's I've noticed their archive's pretty awesome. I mean, it's cool they're bringing stuff back. It's cool you get slip covers with it. It seems like it's not like other companies where they're only super limited. It seems like you have a better shot of getting them. I don't know. I like what they're doing. So.
Yep. And for anyone who cares, I know it's not related to any of this, but they are releasing a 4K remastered version of Rawhead Rex now under Kino Lorber.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that coming. It's gonna be awesome. But yep, thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you guys like this random kind of thing we did here.
Yeah, let us know on the feedback, guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Check us out on iTunes, Horror Movie Project. We're on iTunes and Stitcher, Speaker, and SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and both of us have YouTube channels. Check out Dan's Reject Films. It's with a Z though. If you just type that in, you'll be able to find it on YouTube. And if you type Dead Michael with Crazy Horror Collector, you should be able to find me too. So if you want to see the extra archives, because we're having issues with putting all our stuff on like iTunes and stuff, it's not going to be able to support the capacity. We're just going to throw all the extra ones on YouTube, and then the new episodes will go on iTunes and everything. So.
Yep, you guys can always find the episodes on my YouTube.
Yep.
And along with Dead Michael's YouTube, so they'll always be there for you guys.
Yep, and some of them, like some of the other ones, they have a bigger bandwidth. Like if you go to the other ones I mentioned, so some of the episodes will still be on those. So I know you can get them on MP3s and probably stick them on, your iPod or whatever you're using if you're using an MP3 player. You should be able to get all the episodes on some of those, but yeah, just check all those out and the links to them, and just type us in the search thing, and you'll be able to find us. So, I'd like to give a shout out to Body Count. They're a horror podcast on iTunes, and you can find them probably other places as well. See you guys next time, and hope you enjoyed the episode.